Chosen one, this is a message rooted not in speculation, but in urgency. There is a pressing spiritual mandate being issued, a call that does not operate on human timelines or societal rhythms. What you are feeling right now, the restlessness, the unusual tension, the desire for clarity, these are not random experiences. They represent a divine alert, a call to mission. This is not a metaphorical assignment. This is a real, timely, spiritual deployment. You are not watching this by accident. You have not encountered these words through coincidence. You are hearing them because the moment you are living in is significant. According to divine timing, you have been entrusted with a task one that may not be visible to others, but remains urgent nonetheless. The signs are clear. The internal pull, the clarity in your recent thoughts, the discernment that is sharpened in silence. This spiritual activation has not been given lightly. It comes with intention. If you found yourself increasingly disconnected from distractions, craving solitude, or seeking deeper truth, it's not because you're withdrawing. It's because you're being recalibrated for a higher directive. This directive does not begin tomorrow. It begins now. The preparation, the waiting, and the questions were all valid steps in the process. But now, that phase is concluding. The next phase is initiation. This call does not require you to be flawless. It requires you to be willing. This is not a passive season. It is not time to spectate or analyze. It is time to respond. For many, this response may seem like a leap. For you, it will feel like alignment. That subtle but growing sense of urgency is spiritual confirmation. The mission has already been transmitted to your spirit. Now the question is whether you will walk in it. Throughout history, individuals have been called into moments that appeared overwhelming. Yet they were equipped not because of their qualifications, but because of their obedience. Today's message aligns with that same principle. This mission is not predicated on your past, your resume, or your comfort level. It is based solely on your yes. If your life has felt more intense recently, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, this is the reason. Spiritual tension often precedes divine acceleration. Isolation, difficulty, and perceived stagnation are common precursors to breakthrough, not indicators of punishment. You are not under attack randomly. The pressure you've endured has a purpose. You are being prepared for visibility through the vehicle of refinement. The times you felt buried were not about hiding. They were about being planted. The solitude was not neglect. It was a strategic clearing of distractions so your spirit could be aligned with instruction. Every painful experience, every moment of silence, every unanswered prayer was part of the process. Now, the urgency you feel is not from fear, it is from alignment. The timing of heaven and your obedience are intersecting. And when that happens, decisive movement is required. You have been set apart, not isolated. There is a difference. Isolation is without purpose. Separation is preparation. You are being activated for an assignment that cannot be delayed any further. Lives are attached to your alignment. The longer the delay, the more the impact is deferred. This is not an emotional appeal. It is a strategic update. You were born into this time period for a reason. The burdens you felt, the convictions that won't leave you alone, the dreams that repeat in your spirit, they're all evidence of the call. You've likely questioned why your internal world feels more awake than others around you, why you sense things they do not, why their comfort feels like a burden to you. This isn't arrogance. It's evidence that your sensitivity has been spiritually heightened for a reason. Your discernment is not a flaw. It is your equipment. The clarity that is coming to you now is not random. It is coordinated. Instructions from heaven rarely come in one loud announcement. They come quietly, in repeated nudges, in spiritual impressions, in patterns that cannot be ignored. You've seen the signs. You've heard the confirmations. You know it's time. The mission is not something to overanalyze. It will often lack human logic, but it will carry divine backing. You do not need all the steps to move. You need the faith to take the next one. Heaven doesn't typically provide a full map. It offers momentum. The assignment is real. And it's not optional. Obedience is not something to delay. When instructions are clear and timely, procrastination becomes disobedience. Souls, families, even nations could be affected by one yes or one no. Your influence may not be public, but its impact is still profound. This is not about fear, performance, or striving. This is about surrender, movement, and timing. You are being asked to operate with courage, not the absence of fear, but movement despite it. Your voice, your presence, and your obedience are needed. You carry something unique, not just insight, but impact. You don't have to carry the weight of results. You're not responsible for outcomes, only obedience. The assignment is in your hands, but the results are in God's. You walk. Heaven will align the rest. The moments of hardship, the ones no one saw, were not in vain. They shaped you. They gave you vision. They built resilience. What once felt like loss was actually the foundation for strength. The place you're being called to now is built on the lessons you've already endured. You're not starting from scratch. You're moving from strategy. You've passed unseen tests. You've remained faithful when recognition was absent. You've carried burdens without complaining. Those weren't wasted moments. They were milestones in your preparation. Your ability to endure in private has made you ready for the responsibility you're about to step into publicly. God often conceals his greatest vessels until the exact moment they are needed. You're not overlooked. You're reserved. And now, you are being released. Your role is not passive. It's active. You're being deployed into spaces that require your obedience, your insight, and your presence. You don't need a platform to make an impact. Every room you enter now carries weight. Every decision you make now affects legacy. You're not being asked to do everything, only the thing assigned to you. Your next step matters. It's not about perfection. It's about alignment. One step in the right direction can shift everything. You've been refined by fire, not destroyed by it. You've grown through hardship, not hardened by it. Now you are equipped not only with information, but with internal authority. Your lived experience has forged the credibility you will need to lead. You've seen patterns that repeat in your bloodline. You've felt the spiritual resistance. This is not imaginary. It's generational, but you are the interruption. The cycles are being broken because of your willingness. You're not cursed. You're called. Your yes is more than personal. It's prophetic. The family patterns, the delays, the misalignments, they end here. The clarity you now walk in is the result of what others could not complete. But you will. You are not a spectator to this moment in history. You are a participant. God is not looking for public influencers. He's looking for private intercessors, faithful workers, obedient voices. You are all three. There is an internal voice telling you this is confirmation. That voice is not your imagination, it is divine. The weight you've carried is not because you're weak, but because you've been assigned. There will be opposition, but you've already been trained in adversity. There will be misunderstanding, but you've already learned how to remain grounded. You are more prepared than you think. The battle is not coming. It's here, but so is the support. You're not being sent alone. Spiritually, you are surrounded. Angels are assigned. The path is being cleared as you move. You've heard the phrase, such a time as this. That time is now, and you are part of the reason this time matters. The shift that is happening in the world is real socially, politically, economically, and spiritually. But it's not just about shaking. It's about sending. There is a sending happening right now, and you are one of those being positioned for it. It won't always be clear. It won't always be celebrated. But it will always be significant. You're not called to be perfect. You're called to be available. That's what heaven needs now, not influencers, not experts, but those who will say, "Here I am." This season requires more than attendance. It requires action. And your next move is not about waiting for further confirmation. You've already received more than enough. It's about movement now. As you walk forward, don't expect everyone to understand. This is not a collective calling. It's a personal one. Others may not see what you see, feel what you feel, or hear what you hear. That's because the calling wasn't given to them. It was given to you. You may not feel ready. That's common. But readiness is often developed in motion. Start. Clarity will follow. Courage is not built in thought. It's built in movement. We continue now from where we left off, with movement. The direction has been given. The timing has aligned. The preparation phase is officially closed. The mission is no longer a distant idea. It has entered its active stage. And now, chosen one, your response is required. You may feel unqualified, uncertain, or hesitant, but these feelings are not indicators of incapability. They are common at the edge of every breakthrough. Spiritual elevation often feels unfamiliar because it is not built on the foundation of routine. It is forged through obedience. The key now is not to seek more signs. It is to proceed in faith. Every major shift begins with a single step. And in this context, that step may look like setting a boundary, completing an overdue task, initiating a project, or simply acknowledging your readiness. The next chapter of your journey is no longer in theory. It is operational. This is where spiritual alignment transitions into daily action. This is where what you've seen in visions begins to take shape in tangible ways. But remember, divine instruction rarely matches human comfort. What feels like a disruption is often a setup. Your role now is to remain committed to clarity. The assignment does not need to feel emotionally overwhelming to be spiritually valid. It only needs to be followed. In the stillness, you've heard the call. In obedience, you will witness the outcome. This stage is not about proving your worth. You've already been approved. It is not about collecting applause. It is about executing with consistency. As this transition progresses, you will begin noticing certain patterns. These are not signs to wait for. They are results of alignment already in progress. You'll find yourself unusually focused. Where distraction used to dominate, peace will take root. Conversations will shift. You'll become less interested in surface-level dialogue and more drawn to truth-based exchanges. Opportunities may appear quietly. These won't come with fanfare, but with confirmation that resonates deeply. Systems around you will adjust. Doors will close quickly when they're not for you. Others will open without you forcing them. These changes are subtle, yet strategic. They are not to be dismissed as coincidence. They are indicators that the invisible is now intersecting with the visible. The atmosphere around you is changing because of the alignment within you. In this stage, releasing what no longer serves your mission is not just a recommendation, it's a requirement. This may include beliefs, behaviors, relationships, or even routines. Anything misaligned will begin to feel increasingly incompatible. That discomfort is not a sign of confusion. It is a prompt to reset. You do not need to demonize what you let go of. Honor what served you. Thank what helped you grow. But do not cling to what can no longer go forward. This isn't about loss. It's about space. The new can't arrive if your hands are still full of the old. Letting go is not weakness. It's maturity. And in this new space, maturity is not optional. It is foundational. This part of the journey will feel isolating at times. You may not receive external confirmation for every obedient action you take. In fact, some moves may be questioned, misunderstood, or dismissed. But understand this: not everyone will see what you see, and not everyone is meant to. You are not moving to impress. You are moving to fulfill. The assignment wasn't submitted to a committee. It was entrusted to you personally. Learn to be content with private alignment. Be willing to obey in silence. Be confident in conviction, even when applause is absent. Impact does not always follow visibility. Many of the most critical assignments happen away from the spotlight. Your consistency in hidden spaces is what qualifies you for responsibility in visible ones. Quiet obedience is one of the most powerful forces in spiritual momentum. It's what allows you to build when no one is watching. It's what allows trust to form between you and your purpose. Right now, the spiritual momentum around you is not random. You've been stewarding obedience over time, and the return is being multiplied. You are being positioned. But this positioning requires sustained intentionality. You must now become strategic about what you allow into your time, your mind, and your space. Distraction is not innocent. It is disruptive. And in seasons like this, distraction is the greatest threat to activation. The goal is not just movement. It is accurate movement. Some things that took others years to accomplish will begin happening quickly for you. This is not because you are favored more, but because you are aligned sooner. You spent the unseen years in preparation, submission, and discipline. And now, the return on that investment is manifesting through acceleration. Acceleration is not hype. It is efficiency. It means what once required force now unfolds naturally. Expect clarity in areas where there used to be chaos. Expect answers in areas that once felt stuck. Expect restoration in spaces where you experienced depletion. The spiritual principle here is simple. Heaven doesn't waste obedience. Starting is easy. Sustaining is sacred. As you move forward, consider these three sustaining principles. Consistency greater than intensity. You don't need to make radical moves every day. You need to stay faithful to the path you've already been given. Small actions done consistently will yield greater impact than sporadic effort. Conviction greater than emotion. There will be days when you feel tired, uncertain, or uninspired. Don't allow those emotions to make your decisions. Move from conviction. What was true on day 1 is still true on day 100. Structure greater than speed and rush the process. Build systems that support your longevity, habits, rest periods, study routines, community. These will support you when motivation runs low. Remember, the goal isn't just to reach a destination. It's to become someone who can carry what the destination requires. As you remain aligned, people will begin to find you. You won't need to chase platforms or force visibility. Community will be drawn to clarity. This is not about creating a following. It's about creating impact. People resonate with truth, and when they see it lived authentically, they move toward it. But be cautious. Not everyone drawn to your light respects the cost of it. Discernment is now crucial. Evaluate motives, protect your peace. And remember, just because someone has access to you doesn't mean they have alignment with you. This phase is about more than personal growth. It's about legacy. What you build now becomes the blueprint for those who come after. Your discipline sets the standard. Your clarity becomes the roadmap. Your obedience writes history. Do not think of this moment as small. Do not reduce its value to your current circumstances. The work you are doing in the spiritual and natural now is creating pathways for others, many of whom you'll never meet. The time of hiding is over. The time of pretending is done. You are no longer waiting. You are building. And what you build will outlast trends, seasons, and opinions. As we reach the conclusion of this message, take these closing truths with you. You are not behind. Everything is unfolding exactly on time. You are not alone. Help has already been assigned. You are not guessing. You are being guided. You are not too late. You are being launched. You are not unclear. You are being confirmed. What comes next will require all of you, your attention, your humility, your presence. But it will also reward all of you your peace, your influence, your purpose. The assignment is real. The time is now. And the answer must be yes. Yes to alignment. Yes to accountability. Yes to impact. Yes to legacy. Yes to purpose. Yes to obedience. Yes to now. This is not the end. It's the initiation of accountability. Chosen one. If you've walked through this entire message, then you've already stepped into a deeper space of spiritual awareness. But what you're stepping into now goes beyond awareness. It is responsibility. This isn't simply a message to reflect on. It's a moment to act on. This final part serves as both summary and instruction. The assignment is no longer pending. It has been released. And with it, your clarity, your conviction, and your capacity must rise accordingly. For too long, many have believed that spiritual elevation would arrive with ease. But as you now understand, elevation is almost always preceded by endurance. And while the message has highlighted the necessity of obedience, that obedience now must move from mental agreement to physical execution. You are no longer the observer of this message. You are now its carrier. One of the most important truths to carry forward is this: your readiness is not proven by how deeply you feel inspired. It's proven by how clearly you begin to act. Emotional reaction without practical redirection is not transformation. There is a cost to carrying an assignment. That cost is often discomfort, change, and surrender. But the reward is undeniable. Divine alignment, spiritual maturity, and generational impact. In this moment, the question is not, what did you feel? It is, what will you now do? Will you begin restructuring your time to reflect your priorities? Will you shift your daily routines to create space for silence and strategy? Will you follow the conviction that has been stirring within you? Will you finally act on the instruction that has already been repeated multiple times? This is no longer about waiting for more confirmation. The message has been delivered. The blueprint is available. Now, implementation is required. Spiritual clarity must translate into visible order. That means your personal life, your habits, and your interactions should all begin to reflect the alignment. You now understand. Here are 5 pillars of personal alignment to review and apply immediately. Time management. Guard your mornings. Establish clear start and stop points for your work. Introduce digital boundaries. Time is your most valuable asset in this assignment. Steward it intentionally. Health and energy. Treat your body as a vessel, not a burden. Rest, hydration, and focused nutrition are not indulgences. They are tools of longevity. You cannot carry the assignment on a depleted frame. Relationships. Review your inner circle. Remove passive, energy-draining engagements. Surround yourself with individuals who support clarity, not confusion. Do not negotiate your peace to preserve outdated connections. Voice and boundaries. Say no when needed. Stay silent when it protects your clarity. Speak when it reinforces your values. Every word has power. Every conversation costs energy. Invest wisely. Environment. Clean your space. Minimize noise. Create a setting that supports stillness, thinking, and progress. Your physical environment should reflect your internal shift. These are not motivational suggestions. They are structural foundations for a life of alignment. Without them, even divine instruction can become buried in disorder. the next phase of your journey will not be tested by applause or success. It will be tested in silence. Can you continue to build when no one acknowledges it? Can you remain consistent when the feedback disappears? Can you honor the instruction when the outcome is not immediate? This is where many chosen ones waver, not in revelation, but in rhythm. Once the intensity of the message fades, the real test begins. Will you still respond with the same seriousness when the moment feels ordinary? Consistency is what proves character. Clarity is what sustains it. Stay grounded. Avoid dramatics. Protect your momentum. Build systems that will outlast emotion. Another truth that must be acknowledged is the necessity of separation. This is not personal. It is positional. As you begin to walk in full alignment, some people, places, and ideas will begin to feel incompatible. That's not a sign of disloyalty. It's a sign of forward movement. Separation doesn't mean dishonor. You can release without resentment. You can create space without conflict. You can move on without malice. It's important to recognize that your calling was never meant to be unanimously understood, and your spiritual shift will not be universally accepted. That's okay. Everyone is not called to go where you are headed. And if you continue trying to carry everyone with you, you will delay your own obedience. The next step in your calling may be uncomfortable, but it is necessary. Though the path may feel narrow, you will not be left without reinforcement. As you step forward in obedience, heaven responds with provision. Divine assistance will appear in the form of new connections, fresh ideas, sudden clarity, or unexplainable favor. Strategic alliances will begin forming quietly at first, but with unmistakable alignment. Unexpected provision, financial, emotional, or logistical, will support your next move. You won't have to manipulate anything. It will arrive as needed. This provision is not random. It's a response to your positioning. Your act of obedience unlocks spiritual support. The moment you align your actions with your assignment, momentum begins. Chosen one, remember this. Your legacy is not being built on one moment. It is being forged through daily decisions. Legacy is not a grand speech. It's a private commitment. It's the seemingly small decisions, what you do when no one is watching, how you treat others when nothing is at stake, what you choose when comfort is an option. Every moment from here forward is a page in your legacy. You are not building for a platform. You are building for permanence. This message will begin to echo in your daily life. You will begin to hear these principles mirrored in conversations, teachings, or internal reflections. That is not coincidence. It is confirmation. When the divine deposits a word in your spirit, it does not leave quickly. It remains until it's acted upon. You may find that this message returns to your mind during your most decisive moments. That's because it was planted for such times. The message is not a motivational push. It is a prophetic map. Return to it when needed. Reflect on it when uncertain. But most importantly, act on it when clarity is present. Let this be your final clarity. You are no longer in preparation. You are now in purpose. You are no longer waiting for release. You are walking in it. You are no longer searching for answers. You are executing on instruction. You are no longer held back. You are now assigned. You are no longer hidden. You are positioned. There is nothing more to wait for. You've been refined, repositioned, and reassigned. Now, all that's left is execution. The shift is not coming. It is already happening. Your assignment is not developing. It is already released. Your purpose is not evolving. It is being walked out in real time. Do not rush. Do not compare. Do not regress. This is the most critical phase, where instruction must meet discipline. Your job is not to do everything, but to do the one thing you've been assigned with excellence. Listen closely. Move intentionally. Rest regularly. Protect the assignment with your life. You've been chosen. And chosen ones don't disappear when things get hard. They rise when the moment demands it. This is that moment. You will walk forward. Now, not because the path is easy, but because the call is non-negotiable. You will speak with clarity, not because your voice is loud, but because your message is anchored. You will stand with strength, not because you are immune to fear, but because your foundation is deeper than emotion. You are no longer asking for permission. You are no longer waiting for the perfect moment. You are no longer holding back the fire within. This is your time. Walk in it with full confidence. You've reached the end of this message, but your next step begins now. If something in this script confirmed what you've already felt, sensed, or discerned, don't ignore it. That confirmation wasn't just emotional. It was instructional. You weren't guided here by accident. You were aligned here by purpose. Take a moment to pause and reflect. What is your next step in obedience? What needs to be adjusted, released, or activated? If this message helped bring clarity, consider sharing it with someone who's also in transition. Leave a comment below with one insight or next step you're committed to. Your words could be confirmation for someone else. Make sure to subscribe if you want more content like this, centered on alignment, clarity, and spiritual readiness. Every message is crafted to meet you where you are and guide you where you're meant to go. This isn't about motivation. It's about movement. You're not being asked to figure everything out, just to respond to what you already know. The shift is happening now. Your obedience still matters. And the impact of your next decision will reach farther than you realize. This is your moment. Walk it out with clarity. You're ready.